Let's create our base object for the chair seat. I've got the chair legs in the scene here already for reference. So that we don't accidentally select them or anything, I'm going to freeze them. Just select them all, and then right-click anywhere and choose Freeze Selection. That way we can't accidentally select or move them. Subdivision surfaces work best with quadrilateral polygons. If you have triangles or polygons with more than 4 sides, or polygons that all meet together at a single point or pole, then the subdivision surface algorithm is going to have problems, and you're not going to have the control that you really need. Stick with all quadrilaterals whenever possible. To create this seat here, I can use a disk that's built out of all quadrilaterals. Really, the best way to do that is to start from a cylinder. We could use a circle primitive, but the cylinder is actually going to give us a lot more control, so let's use that. Go to the Create panel, Standard Primitives, Cylinder, and let me just snap to the origin there. I'll turn on 3D snaps, right-click on there, and make sure that I'm only snapping to grid points and nothing else. Click at the origin and drag that out a bit until we got a radius of, let's say, 12 inches or so. Release the mouse and drag upward to set the height of the cylinder. Click again to complete that cylinder, and then right-click to exit. Let's see this with edged faces, F4. And let's move it up a bit, turn the snaps off again, and grab the Move tool and just position that above the chair legs. We only need the top of that cylinder. To save us some time, we can subdivide that top in the parameters. Go over to the Modify panel, and let's set the number of sides to 16, the number of cap segments to 2, and the height segments don't matter because we're going to delete all of that. Now let's convert this to editable poly. Right-click and choose Convert to Editable Poly. We want to delete everything except for the top surface here. I'll show you a little trick for that. Select the center vertex, and then convert that selection to polygons. Hold down Control, and then click on the icon for Polygon Subobject Mode. And now all of the polygons that touch that vertex are selected. Grow that selection out once by clicking on the Grow button. Then invert the selection. Edit menu. Select Invert. Now everything else is selected. And press Delete on the keyboard. Cool. So we've got that. Now we need to make some adjustments here to make it all polygons that are quadrilateral. We can delete all of these triangles here because this is going to be a real problem for subds. Once again, go to Vertex Mode. Select that center vertex, and then Control-click on the Edge subobject mode. All of those edges are selected, and as we saw in a previous chapter, we want to delete these edges and delete all associated vertices without punching a hole in the model, and the keyboard shortcut for that is Control-Backspace. Cool. Now all we have to do is just draw some lines here to create quadrilaterals. Let's do that in the top viewport. Alt-W to switch the views. Select the top viewport, Alt-W again. Let's get our ribbon visible. If it's not already, toggle the ribbon on, and we can just use the Cut tool. Remember how the Cut tool works? You don't want to have snapping turned on because Cut has its own snaps built in. Go over to a vertex, click on that vertex, drag over to another vertex, click again, and that line's been drawn. And then right-click. And just so that we're not confused by the display here, we can actually exit out of Edge subobject mode because we can cut even in object mode. We'll go back to the Cut tool and just chop through here a few times to create a quadrilateral structure. All right, that object's built out of all quadrilaterals. We can clean this up a little bit. Just go back to Edge subobject mode, and we can exit out of the Cut tool. And then we can double-click on an edge, and it'll select an edge loop, but it won't necessarily go all the way around. So you'll need to do that a few times with the Control key. Select all of those edges, and then scale them at sub-object level. And then go to Vertex Mode. You want to scale these guys as well. Let's do this with the Select tool first so we can see this a little bit better. And then switch to the Scale tool. Here's our Scale tool. Bring that out. We're just prepping this so that we don't have any problems later on. All right, so that's the end result we want to end up with. If you look through on this object, every polygon on here has 4 sides, including these that look kind of triangular here. But if you count the number of sides, it's actually got 4 sides and 4 vertices. That is a model that's very well structured for subdivision surfaces. And with that constructed, now we can move on to actually applying the sub-D algorithm.